Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanaतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। एतावान् सांख्ययोगाभ्यां स्वधर्म परिनिष्ठया जन्मलाभ परः पुंसाम् अन्ते नारायण स्मृतिः। अकाम सर्वकामो वा मोक्षकाम उदारधि तीव्रेण भक्ति योगेन यजेत पुरुषं परम्। अहम् एवासमेवाग्रे नान्यद्यत्सदसत्परम् पश्चादहं यदेतच्च यो वशिष्येत सोऽस्म्यहम्। हृत्यर्थं यत् प्रतीयेत न प्रतीयेत चात्मनि तद्विद्यादात्मनो मायां यथा भासो यथा तमः। यथा महान्ति भूतानि भूतेषु चावशेषनु प्रविष्टान्यप्रविष्टानि तथा तेषु न तेषहम्। एतावदेव जिज्ञास्यं तत्त्वजिज्ञासुनात्मनः अन्वय व्यतिरेकाभ्यां यत् स्यात् सर्वत्र सर्वदा। अत्र सर्गो विसर्गश्च स्थानं पोषणम् ऊतयः मन्वन्तरेषानुकथा निरोधो मुक्तिराश्रयः। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for your kind association. We are studying Granthara Srīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 7, entitled The Scheduled Incarnations of Lord Krishna and Their Specific Functions. And we are going to continue from verse number 50 today. Text 50. सोयं ते भिहितस्तात भगवान् विश्वभावनः समासेन हरेर्नान्यद् अन्यस्मात् सदसच्चयत्. Translation and purport by our beloved founder Acharya Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Ashtottara Shata Shri Srīmad Abhay Charana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Lord Brahmaji is describing to Shripad Narad Muni, my dear son, I have now explained in brief the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is creator of the manifested worlds. Without the Supreme Lord Hari, there are no other causes of the phenomenal and noumenal existences. What is the meaning of phenomenal and what is the meaning of noumenal? Phenomenal world means the world that we can perceive with our senses. And noumenal world means the world that exists, which we may not be able to perceive with our senses. Regardless of sense perception, the world that exists is nominal world, and phenomenal world is world that can be perceived with our senses. Both of the nominal world and the phenomenal world, both material world and the world that we can perceive and the world that is in the unmanifested form, which we cannot perceive, both exist only because of Krishna. Krishna creates everything, whether it is the Mahatattva, whether it is the 14 planetary systems, everything is created ultimately by Krishna. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says something very important, and it is essential for us to understand this purport. Srila Prabhupada says, since we generally have the experience of the temporary material world and the conditioned souls who are trying to lord it over in the material world, there are two things in the material world. Please pay attention. There is the material world, and there are the jivas who are trying to enjoy the material world. Brahmaji explained to Narada Dev that this temporary world is a work of the external potency of the Lord, and that the conditioned souls struggling here for existence are the marginal potency of the Supreme Lord, Lord Hari. The souls who are suffering belong to the marginal potency. The world in which they are struggling belongs to the external potency. And Krishna enjoys the internal potency, Ladini Shakti. This does not mean, however, that Lord Krishna himself is distributed impersonally. No, Krishna is aloof from all these interactions of the external energy and the marginal energy. Goloka eva nivasati. Even though he is Akhilatma Bhuto, but still he remains in his supreme world Golok Vrindavan, enjoying pastimes with the Nitya Siddha Bhaktas. So Krishna actually personally is aloof from the interactions of the marginal potency and the external potency. In Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that by his potency alone, he is present everywhere and anywhere. Aham sarvasya prabha mata sarvam pravartate. Krishna is present everywhere because everything is emanating from him. But still he is aloof. One should not deprecate the Supreme Lord for the creation of this miserable world. So naturally, okay, Krishna is enjoying Tadhama Paramamama. Krishna is enjoying in his spiritual world in Vaikuntha, Golok Vrindavan, and we are struggling. Mana Shashtani Indrani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. We are struggling in this material world, in this Prakriti. What is Krishna doing? Why did Krishna create this world? Prabhupada is saying we should not deprecate Krishna for creating this miserable world. Just as one should not blame the king for creating a prison. The king creates parks, the king creates recreation areas, hill stations, beaches, so many things for the people to enjoy. The king creates schools, public parks, nice roads. The king creates educational institutions. The king creates nice jobs. But the king also creates, the government also creates jail. So should the government be criticized for creating jails? No, jail is necessary because there will be some people who will be mischievous, who will be miscreants, and they will deserve punishment in jail. And not just punishment, but they will deserve to be locked up in jail so that they do not cause trouble for the law-abiding citizens. So the jail exists, although jail is an unpleasant place, but it exists because there is a purpose. Similarly, this material world is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. This material world is a place of misery, but it has its place. It is necessary for certain rebellious souls to reform by suffering here. The prison house is a necessary institution for those who are disobedient to the laws of the government. So therefore, this material world is like a prison house. Similarly, this material world full of miseries is a temporary creation by Lord Krishna for those who have forgotten him and are trying to lord it over the false manifestation. Prabhupada is calling this material world a false manifestation. Why? Because it is temporary. Krishna, however, is always anxious to get the fallen souls back home, back to Godhead. And he has given so many chances to the conditioned souls via the authoritative scriptures. If we just study Bhagavad Gita, in Sri Bhagavad Gita, Krishna so many times gives us different instructions so that we can attain the spiritual world. Manmana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru mam eva shasi. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmar yuddhacha mai arpita manobuddhir mam eva samshaya. Mat karma krin mat paramo mat bhakta sangha varjita nirvaira sarvabhuteshu ihasa mam eti pandava. So many times Krishna is giving formulae for us to attain him. Because Krishna wants us to go to the spiritual world. Krishna does not want us to languish here in the material world. And since Krishna has no direct attachment to this material world, Krishna is not to be blamed for the creation. Krishna is always Leela Bihari. Krishna is enjoying his pastimes. Yoga Maya Upashrita. Bhagavana Pita Ratri Sharadot Pulla Mallika Viksharantu Manha Chakra Yoga Maya Upashrita. Krishna, under the covering of Yoga Maya, is always enjoying his pastimes. And he has directly, personally, nothing to do with the interactions of the marginal potency and the external potency. He is in the internal potency. And we also should be under the shelter of internal potency. Unfortunately, we have taken shelter of the external potency. Bhakti means to give up the attachment to external potency and take shelter. Daivi Prakriti Ashrita. Take shelter of the internal potency. That is Bhakti. Text 51. Amrit Gaurangi Mataji, please read text 51.
Sorry, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Idham Bhagavatam Nama Yanme Bhagavato Ditam Sangrahoyam Vibhutinam Tvametad Vipuli Kuru. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. O Narada, this science of God, Srīmad Bhāgavatam, was spoken to me in summary by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it was spoken as the accumulation of His divine potencies. Please expand this science yourself. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Lord Brahmaji is giving an instruction to his disciple, Shripad Narad Muni. What is the instruction? You understand Srimad Bhagavatam from me and then expand on it. Expand on it. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Srimad Bhagavatam in a nutshell, spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, in about half a dozen verses, about 6 verses, which will appear ahead, is the science of God. Actually, it is Chatushloki, just 4 verses mainly. The Bhagavatam was spoken, and those 4 verses we have been reciting every Bhakti Vaibhava in this module. It's all those 4 verses are for memorization, and they will appear further in the 2nd canto. Krishna being absolute is non-different from Srimad Bhagavatam. Very clearly, Prabhupada is saying that there is no difference between Krishna and Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the book incarnation of Krishna. Krishna Tulya Bhagavata Vibhu Sarvashraya. Brahmaji received the science of Godhead directly from Krishna, the Lord, and he handed it over to his son, Narada, who in turn ordered Srila Vyasadeva to expand it. This we saw in the 1st canto. So the transcendental knowledge of the Supreme Lord is not some mental speculation by mundane wranglers, but it is uncontaminated, eternal, perfect knowledge beyond the jurisdiction of material modes. The knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam, the science of Bhakti, is eternal. The Bhagavad Puran or Srimad Bhagavatam is therefore the direct incarnation of Lord Krishna in the form of transcendental sound. It is Shabda Brahma. And one should receive this Shabda Brahma, transcendental knowledge, from the bona fide representative of Lord Krishna in the chain of disciplic succession. And there are many chains. One chain is described here, from Lord Krishna to Lord Brahma to Shri Narad Muni, from Narad Muni to Vyasadeva, from Vyasadeva to Shukdev Goswami, from Shukdev Goswami to Suta Goswami, from Suta Goswami to Shaunak Rishi. Like that, it goes on. This is one chain. Another chain is Shukdev Goswami to Parishit Maharaj. Another chain is Vyasadeva to Shripad Madhvacharya, which is our line. In this way, there are many chains of disciplic succession. As long as they are unbroken, as long as the message is uncontaminated and pure, it's a bona fide sampradaya. The ripened fruit of Vedic tree drops from one hand to another without being broken by falling suddenly from a high branch down to the earth. Explain this sentence. Who can explain this sentence? Raise your hand. Beautiful poetic sentence by Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Yes. Janani Mataji and Satyarupa Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. The ripened fruit of the Vedic tree drops from one hand to another without being broken by falling suddenly from a high branch down to the earth. When a ripened tree falls from the upper branch down to the earth, there are high chances that it breaks off, or it just, we cannot have it. But when it is coming from one branch to another, there are the chances that it will be very safely handed over till the ground. So all these branches are compared to our acharyas, who have taken this from Krishna and directly giving it to the conditioned souls like us, to the ground.
Very nice, very nice. And if someone says, I am Guru, but he has no Guru, that means he has picked up a fruit from the high branch of a tree fallen, which is broken. It is not as it is. If it has to be as it is, Yatharup, then it has to be handed down from a Acharya to Acharya. Very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Therefore, unless one hears the science of Godhead, Srīmad Bhāgavatam, from the bona fide representative of the disciplic succession, as above mentioned, for one to understand the theme of the science of Godhead will be a difficult job. Unless we are in Parampara, we will not be able to understand. It should never be heard from the professional Bhagavatam reciters who earn their livelihood by gratifying the senses of the audience. There are some people who speak Srīmad Bhāgavatam, they speak Krishna Katha, Ram Katha, and their aim is, that is their profession. They earn their livelihood by doing that, and they speak in a very entertaining way. They may do different tricks, hire professional musicians in their katha to entertain people, and they charge also. And Prabhupada is saying one should never hear from the professional Bhagavatam reciters. Speaking Srīmad Bhagavatam is not a profession where we earn money. Shamchandra Prabhu, please read verse 52.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna.
Yataharo Bhagavati Nirnam Bhakti Bhavishyati Sarvatmani Akiladhare Iti Sankalpya Varnaya. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada. Please describe the science of Godhead with determination and in a manner by which it will be quite possible for the human being to develop transcendental devotional service unto the personality of Godhead, Hari, the super soul of every living being and the summum bonum, source of all energies.
Hare Krishna. So, here, Lord Brahmaji is further giving instructions to his son and his disciple, Shripad Narad Muni, that please describe Harau Bhagavati, Bhakti. You speak about devotion to Krishna, to the people in general. That way, by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, it will be possible for human beings to develop Bhakti for Lord Hari, who is the ultimate goal of life. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, Srimad Bhagavatam is the philosophy of devotional service and the scientific presentation of man's relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sambandha Jnana. It is given by Srimad Bhagavatam. And also Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us Abhideya, devotional service, the process of devotion. And Srimad Bhagavatam also teaches us the Prayojan Tattva, which is the highest attainment for a human being. All three are nicely explained by Srimad Bhagavatam to all of us. And Srila Jiva Goswami was specially empowered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to explain three topics. Different followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu were empowered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to describe different topics. This is explained in Jaiva Dharma. Srila Jiva Goswami was specifically empowered to explain in detail Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan. And this Srila Jiva Goswami did through his Shat Sandarbhas, which are very, very foundational. Many purports of Srila Prabhupada, the philosophy is entirely based on Srila Jiva Goswami's Shat Sandarbhas. Srila Rupa Goswami was empowered to teach Rasa Tattva. Srila Sanatan Goswami was empowered to teach the different levels of devotees and the difference between Aishwarya Bhakti of Vaikuntha and Madhurya Bhakti of Golok Vrindavan, and to establish the supremacy of Vraj Bhakti. In this way, different devotees were empowered to teach different topics by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan is all there in Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada further says in the purport, with the beginning of the age of Kali, human society gradually became influenced by the 4 sinful principles. What are they? Illegitimate or illicit connection with women, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating, unnecessary killing of animals. Because of these basic sinful acts, man gradually becomes forgetful of his eternal relation with God. Krishna bhuliya se jiv anadi bahirmukh ataiva maya tare deha samsar dukh. And also similar verses there. This is from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaks this verse, but also in Sri Jagadananda Pandit's Prema Vivarta, there is an important verse which says, Krishna bahirmukha jiv bhoga vancha kare, nikatastha maya tare jhapatiya dhare. So the first line is what we will focus on here. Krishna bahirmukh jiv bhoga vancha kare. When we do bhoga vancha, when we start thinking about sense gratification, when we start planning sense gratification, and when we actually indulge physically in sense gratification, we forget Krishna. Just think about it. Think of a time when we are engaged in sense gratification. Just think. We are doing some sense gratificatory activity that we have all done in the past. Just think of any sense gratificatory activity where we are enjoying with our senses. Whether it is watching a movie, whether it is eating in a restaurant, whatever the activity is, think about it. While we were enjoying that material activity with our senses, were we absorbed in thinking of Krishna lovingly? When we engage in sense gratification, the natural side effect is that we forget Krishna. That is why sense gratification is bad. We forget Krishna because we immediately come in a bodily concept of life. I am this body, I have got these senses, and with these senses I want to enjoy objects of this world. We are just turning away from Krishna. So, therefore we need Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada says, therefore man became blind because of these sinful acts. We became blind, so to speak. Blind to what? Blind to the ultimate goal of life. And the ultimate goal of life is Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam says, Vasudeva Paragati. In the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, Narada Muni is therefore requested and ordered by his spiritual master, Lord Brahmaji, to present this science with determination and in a good plan. Sri Narad Muni was never advised to preach the principles of Bhagavatam to earn a livelihood. He was ordered by his spiritual master, Lord Brahma, to take the matter very seriously in a missionary spirit. What is the meaning of missionary spirit? Raise your hands. What is the meaning of missionary spirit? Yes, Shama Kishori Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. So in a selfless way for the benefit of others.
Yes, missionary spirit means we are on a mission. Stay unmuted. Missionary spirit means we are on a mission. And what is the mission? It is a mission of Guru. It is the mission of Sri Guru. So to preach, to have that missionary spirit, that I want to perform this for the satisfaction of my Guru and for the welfare of the world. Okay, Shama Kishori Mataji, please read verse 53. Oh, yeah, you can unmute now.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I unmuted myself.
No problem.
Mayam varnayato amushya ishwarasya nyumoditaha shunvataha shraddhaya nityam maya-yatma namayati. The Lord's activities in association with his different energies should be described, appreciated, and heard in accordance with the teachings of the Supreme Lord. If this is done regularly with devotion and respect, one is sure to get out of the illusory energy of the Lord.
My dear friends, please give undivided attention to this verse and this purport. It is very, very essential. Lord Brahmaji is telling Shripad Narad Muni that Lord Hari's activities, means the pastimes of Lord Hari, in association with his different energies, means Krishna's interactions with external energy, Krishna's interaction with marginal energy, and Krishna's interaction with internal energy. They should be appreciated, they should be described, and they should be heard. You hear first, you appreciate, and you describe. Understanding? First you hear, you appreciate, and you describe. Unless there is appreciation, if we are not tasting, what we can make others taste? First we have to relish. We have to hear from the right source and let the Leela play in the heart. That is called Smaran. Think what we heard, what we read. Wow, Krishna's Adbhut Leela, Udara Charitam. Krishna is so amazing. How Radharani and Krishna, how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Nityananda Prabhu, how Jagannath has performed such wonderful Leela, wonderful pastimes in this world with his devotees, in the spiritual world, Nitya Leela. All different Leelas we should hear and we should appreciate. And once there is appreciation, then we should describe it to others, our friends. That is the process. And if we do that, we are sure to get out of the illusory energy of the Lord. And this should be done regularly and it should be done with devotion. Haribol. Now, the purport is very important and I'm going to read each and every word of this purport. It is too good. Srila Prabhupada is going to teach us many nice important points. Purport. The science of learning a subject matter seriously is different from the sentiments of fanatics. We are not fanatics. We are not sentimentalists. Fanatics or fools may consider Lord Krishna's activities in relation with the external energy to be useless for them. And they may falsely claim to be higher participants in the internal energy of the Lord. Explain this. Who can explain this? Raise your hand. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yes, Shamchandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So here Srila Prabhupada is giving us the knowledge that it is very important for us to realize the interaction of Krishna with the external energy also. For instance, he clearly wants all the sadhakas not directly to jump into the 10th canto. 10th canto is a relationship of the Lord with the internal energy, Antaranga Shakti, and the pleasures that he derives from that. So it is to show that, I'm not interested in the first 2 cantos, the 3 cantos where everything is involved about the creation. So creation involves his interaction with the external energy. And also there is a lot of, interaction of Lord with the Jivatma. So it is not to show that, oh, these things are not very important for me, and I'll directly jump into the 10th canto and I just want to relish the pastimes of the Lord in that Leela. So that is sort of, to show that these things are not important. That is very important for me. So what Prabhupada is saying here is go step by step. All the interactions, whether it is internal energy, external energy, or interaction with marginal energy, all are equally important, because at the end of the day, it's the Lord who is interacting with all his own energies. So we must not only be absorbed in these things, but we must also be able to appreciate it and share it with one another. So that way, the greatness of the Lord will be still more, and the sweetness also will increase. This is my understanding, Prabhu.
Yes, very
Correct.
perfect understanding. Thank you, Shamchandra Prabhu. You explained it very nicely, very lucidly. Yes, that's what Prabhupada is saying. And those who directly want to jump to Ras Leela and Vraj Leela, Prabhupada is calling them fanatics and fools. Especially those who jump directly into the Vrindavan pastimes and say that, a second canto, first canto, that is basic. That is basic. Creation, what is happening in Maharlok, the different types of pralaya. Kya karna hai apne ko Golok Vrindavan se? We are connected to Golok Vrindavan. What we have to do, understanding all this, the Virat Roop and all those things, not required. I will only directly hear 10th canto. No, if that was so, then the perfect scripture, Srīmad Bhāgavatam, why has the Srīmad Bhāgavatam dedicated so many cantos? Describing creation, different manvantars. Yes, Aja Govind Prabhu.
Prabhuji, I had a brief question here. Can I ask, or should I wait?
Yes, please ask.
I mean, is it something related to people who are more like Sahajiyas, who think that, they have a spiritual position and they don't care about the external world and other things, and they act like they are gopis or something? Is it also kind of like relative understanding?
Yes. That is there. But also, it could also be seen in our society. If someone is saying that second canto is not important, fifth canto is not important, the study of the Vedic cosmology, Bhumandal, this is all external. It is all naimittic. It is all temporary. I don't want to hear about it. I will directly hear 10th canto. Give me some book about Radha Krishna Leela. I want to hear directly Leela. What is happening is, we may not be, if we are doing it whimsically, we may not be ready for it. And we are unknowingly performing a Namaprad. What is a Namaprad? Which Namaprad we are performing out of 10? Nitya Leela Gaurangi Mataji. If I'm saying that second canto, not very important. First canto, not very important. I want 10th canto. Which Namaprad I am performing? Committing?
Scriptures, we are...
Yes, very good. Shruti Shastra Nindanam. Is second canto not Shastra? Is first canto not Shastra? Is fifth canto not Shastra? How can we specifically say only 10th canto for me? 11th canto is all Tattva. I don't want it. No. Every verse of Srimad Bhagavatam is important, has its role to play. Just like if there is Chappan Bhog, you're offering Krishna very nicely. And then everything, the puri, the sabji, the dal, the yogurt items, the fried items, the sweet items, the liquid items, everything has a role to play and everything is important. Yes, Nitya Leela Gaurangi Mataji, you want to say something?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I had a question also. So sometimes it may happen that, that the person is so high level, say Goswamis or somebody that who is in their Swarupa, who is in their, at the level that they are self-realized. So they might be more interested in those kind of pastimes only, right? Or is it?
No,
because
that is true. See, I'll show you. I will share my screen. In Nectar of Instruction, actually, Srila Rupa Goswami says that. One second. See this? Where is Nectar of Instruction? In the 8th verse, Srila Rupa Goswami says that we should always think of Vraj. Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya Tishtan vraje tadanuragi jananugami kalam nayed akhilamit upadesha saram. Rupa Goswami is saying that Tishtan vraje tad anuragi jananugami. That in this way we should always reside in Vraj, if not physically, then mentally. And we should be under the guidance of Anuragi Jana, who have prem for Krishna. The Krishna Premi Jana in Vrindavan, Vraje. And Kalam Nayed Akhilam. We should spend all our time like that. Always thinking of Vraj, always thinking of Krishna, his name, his roop, his activities in Vrindavan. So Srila Rupa Goswami is specifically saying that we have to think of Vraj and Vraj Leela and be absorbed under the guidance of the Ragatmika Bhaktas. But this is the 8th verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, 8th verse of Nectar of Instruction, which means Vacho Vegam has already happened. Manasa Krodha Vegam already happened. Jivha Vegam, Udar Vegam, Upastha Vegam already happened. We are already practicing 6 things that are favorable. We have given up 6 things that are unfavorable. We have identified the different levels of devotees and we are serving very intimately Uttam Adhikari. So when that stage has reached, this is Kramena, step by step. Not that we take the 10th and 11th verse of Nectar of Instruction first. That is talking about Radha Kund and Radharani. But that comes later, step by step. So we have to start from the beginning of Bhagavatam and systematically, nicely, analytically study. Therefore, in Bhakti Vaibhava, we are starting from the 1st canto. Otherwise, we could have directly taken 10th canto. So this is there. Slowly we should develop. And then when slowly we understand everything scientifically, how the external energy is working, how the marginal energy is working, how the internal energy is working, then we understand that, oh, Bhakti means to take shelter of internal energy. Therefore, now let me focus on the internal energy. It naturally happens step by step.
So the sentimentalist we can identify as somebody who has not lost the bad qualities or anarthas, right? And still attached to only.
Yes.
Those.
And anybody, see, even Prabhupada, he's such a Paramhamsa. But Prabhupada also would sit and hear from his disciples when they spoke on the 1st canto, when they spoke on Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada would hear. So a Rasik Vaishnava will never say that, oh, I don't want to hear 2nd canto. Oh, Rasik Vaishnava will say, oh, these are the words that came from the lotus lips of Shukdev Goswami. He is Radharani's parrot, let me sit and hear. Like that. So advanced devotee generally will not present oneself as advanced and will never consider any section of Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita to be inferior. But personally speaking, in their personal bhajan, they will be absorbed in the pastimes of Vrindavan, pastimes of Krishna with his devotees.
Thank you so much.
And yeah, this is mainly for us that we have to be very careful that we should not become Sahajiya. That, oh, I just want to hear 10th canto. I want to read Gopal Champu. And I want to read so many pastimes of Krishna, Govinda Leela and other books. When Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada asked Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur that I have published Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Charitamrita also has been published. I want to publish Vilap Kusumanjali. So do I have your permission, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, to publish Vilap Kusumanjali? Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur thought and he said, yes, you can publish. But publish only 2 copies. One for you and one for me. The others are not qualified to read. And Prabhupada is going to explain that here. So let's keep reading. So on the other hand, those who are not completely free from the clutches of Lord's external energy, means those who are not free from material attachments, should devoutly hear regularly about the activities of Lord Krishna in relation with the external energy. Why? Tell me, why? Those who are materially attached, Prabhupada is saying that they should devoutly, specifically hear about Krishna's pastimes with the external energy, which means creation and all those things. Yes, Shama Vallavi Mataji, boliye. Mataji, you have to unmute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, are able to hear me?
Now I can hear, yes.
Prabhuji, then only our heart will be purified when we hear those Lord's activities in relation to the external energy, then our heart will be free from contamination, and then we'll be eligible to hear the 10th canto topics and all.
Okay, good. Nityalila Gauranga Mataji, any other take on this?
Maybe that we are so attached to this material energy, and that is created by Krishna, we understand. So
Yeah, and we also understand how this external energy to whom we are so attached is working. Array, this body that I'm getting attracted to, it is just made up of the 5 elements. It's going to dissolve and disappear. It is going to become ashes or soil, or food for some birds, vultures, and their stool it will become. This body that I'm so crazy about. So when we here analytically understand how this external energy of Krishna is working under Krishna's guidance, Mayadhyakshana Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam, then a detachment develops. Why am I so crazy about this temporary? Like Prabhupada tells a story of liquid stool. How that man was attached to that woman, and the woman said, okay, you come after 3 days. 3 days she took purgatives, collected all the stool, diarrhea in a container. And when he came, she looked very shriveled, dehydrated, sickly. Her cheeks had sunken, no makeup, nothing. She was sitting disheveled. He said, oh, what happened to your beauty? She said, oh, my beauty, it's there in that pot, take it. So he goes and opens stool, liquid stool. So that is the liquid beauty that you are attached to. This nice skin, takatak, chikna skin it is looking, it's all water in the skin. That makes it look chikna. So by studying the external energy, a certain detachment develops, and we actually understand how the external energy is working. So then we don't want to interact with it. They should not, Prabhupada is saying, the Sahajiyas, they should not foolishly jump to the activities of the internal energy, falsely attracted by Lord's internal potential activities like his Ras Leela. The cheap reciters of, so there was a club called Gopi Bhav Club. It came up, and Prabhupada was totally against it. So these devotees, actually it exists even now, and they are still active on Facebook. I am not on Facebook, fortunately, but they actually post their videos. This is Gopi, like that. It's very funny, actually. Once a devotee showed me, so I saw it for a few seconds, but it was quite distasteful. But anyway, this people are there. They show themselves as very advanced, but they are still not able to follow brahmacharya, which is the basic principle, even for a nanny. Even for a nanny, first basic principle is brahmacharya. That they cannot follow, and they have a Gopi Bhav Club. So why Gopi Bhav Club is not bona fide, Prabhupada is going to explain now. So they should not foolishly jump to the activities of internal energy, falsely attracted by Lord's internal potential activities like the Ras Leela. The cheap reciters of Bhagavatam are very much enthusiastic about Lord's internal potential activities, and the pseudo devotees, Bhakta Abhas, absorbed in material sense enjoyment, falsely jump to the stage of liberated souls and thus fall down deeply into the clutches of external energy. So there are these Bhagavatam reciters, professional reciters, who to entertain, they talk very much in detail about the Ras Leela and other very intimate esoteric pastimes of Krishna to attract people. And the pseudo devotees, they get attracted. Actually, even I was requested that, Prabhuji, can you speak about Ras Leela? By someone who was not even in ISKCON. We were having Kartik programs, and he attended one Damodar Leela class, and he said, Prabhuji, can you please speak on Ras Leela? You want to just hear about the Ras Leela. He doesn't even chant one round. Pious Hindu wanted to hear Ras Leela. Another time, also in the month of Kartik, we were doing home programs, and this person, he comes to temples, chants few rounds. He told me, Prabhuji, can you speak about Geet Govind? I want to hear about the intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna. It was a month of Kartik. I want to hear, can you speak on Geet Govind? I told him I have never heard Geet, I have never read Geet Govind because I am not qualified. So I cannot speak on it. So Prabhupada explains why. If we do it prematurely, we will fall down into the clutches of external energy, because we will not be able to follow the basic regulative principles. 4 regulative principles also will not be able to follow, because we will get agitated. We are materially conditioned, and when we hear about Krishna's activities, which are human-like activities, Naravat Leela, and although they are purely spiritual, because we are seeing those pastimes through contaminated lenses, we think that these are the pastimes of a man and a woman. Once a devotee who's chanting 16 rounds attended the class of a very nice advanced Vaishnava, and this Vaishnava spoke on a particular verse of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit, which describes about the feelings of separation of Radha and Krishna. It was a very nice class. We were all very moved by that class. But this one particular devotee came to me and he said, Prabhuji, this sounds exactly like a Bollywood story. This sounds exactly like a romantic story, where a boy and a girl are in love and somehow they cannot meet each other. Someone has gone somewhere for some work out of town. Krishna has gone to Mathura for some business, and the girl gets married off by her parents forcefully to some other man called Abhimanyu. This is just like a Bollywood story. My heart broke when I heard that. Because see, we are used to keeping our consciousness on a material plane. So when we see Radha Krishna Leela, we see it through the lens of materialism, and we superimpose our material conceptions on Krishna and Radharani's Leela, which is very wrong. Some of them think that to hear about pastimes of Lord Krishna means to hear about activities with gopis, like his pastimes of Ras Leela or Govardhan Dharan Leela, and they have nothing to do with Lord's plenary expansions. Ram Avatar, not interested. Kurmadev, not interested. Matsya Avatar, nahi sunne ka hai. Vamanadev, nahi chahiye. We want Vrindavan, Krishna only. No. That is Shruti Shastra Nindana. It is not the right attitude. They say they have nothing to do with the plenary expansion, such as the Purusha avatars and their pastimes of creation, pastimes of maintenance, pastimes of annihilation of the material world. Nahi sunne ka humko. They say we don't want to hear. We want only 10th canto. But a pure devotee knows that there is no difference between the pastimes of the Lord, either in Ras Leela or in the Shrishti, Sthiti, Pralaya Leela of the world. Maintenance, creation, annihilation. Rather, the descriptions of such activities of the Lord as the Purusha avatars are specifically meant for persons who are in the clutches of external energy. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave a Kurma Shaligram Shila to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada when he was 7 years old, approximately, and gave him the Kurma Gayatri Mantra. You know why? Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said that just as Kurma Dev holds the entire 14 planetary systems, Anantashesh Bhagwan holds the 14 planetary systems. If you see the Brahmanda, and then in the Garbhodaka ocean, there is Kurmadev also, who is holding Anantashesh. So Kurmadev holds the entire Bhumandal, actually 14 planetary systems are held ultimately by Anantashesh, and then below Anantashesh by Lord Kurmadev. Kurmadev is holding the whole universe. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains that just like Kurmadev held Mount Mandar, Kurmadev holds the whole 14 planetary systems. If one wants a stable foundation in bhakti, in the beginning, one must worship Kurmadev and get the blessings of Kurmadev. So all these incarnations are very important. And so then Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada worshipped a Kurma Shaligram Shila. So this is very sweet. This is a sign of a pure devotee. Topics like the Ras Leela are meant for the liberated souls and not for the conditioned souls. This is the answer. Why we should not have a Gopi club? Why we should not speak about the intimate pastimes of Radha and Krishna publicly? Topics like Ras Leela are meant for liberated souls and not for conditioned souls. Therefore, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, publish 2 copies, one for you, one for me. Vilap Kusumanjali. Because these topics are meant for the liberated souls. And unfortunately, liberated souls are very rare, which means these are not topics to be discussed in a Bhagavad Saptaha. These are topics not to be discussed in a public lecture. These are topics that we close the door, and when we are following the 4 regulative principles, we are chanting sincerely, and we have the blessings of our Guru, then privately we read and relish. Privately read and relish. Why you want to discuss it publicly? Do you know if everybody is qualified who is going to hear it? No. So don't speak. And there are some devotees, even in North America, who like to speak very intimately about Radha and Krishna. And we should be very careful. We should not hear from such devotees. Topics like Ras Leela are meant for liberated souls and not for conditioned souls. We will read Ras Leela. We will read about the esoteric pastimes of Radha and Krishna. But when we have been following the 4 regulative principles, we have practiced brahmacharya, at least for a few years. We are chanting seriously, and we have read Srila Prabhupada's books, and we have the guidance and the permission of our Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru. They will tell us, okay, now you read this book. Like that. That's the way to do it, with proper blessings and guidance. The conditioned souls, therefore, must hear with appreciation and devotion Krishna's pastimes in relationship with the external energy. And such acts are as good as hearing Ras Leela in the liberated stage. Hari Bol. A conditioned soul should not imitate the activities of liberated souls. This is the problem. In our conditioned state, where we are not strictly able to follow brahmacharya, and we act as liberated souls. We act as liberated souls. That is a sure-shot recipe for spiritual crisis. A conditioned soul should not imitate the activities of the liberated soul. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never indulged in hearing the Ras Leela with ordinary men. Only with Rai Ramananda, only with Sarup Damodar Goswami. You see, what is the Paddhati? You sit alone and you relish. Or you sit with 1 or maximum 2 very Sajatiya, advanced devotees, and privately you hear. Not something that is recorded, not something that is live, or not something that so many people are sitting. Anybody can, it's an open program. These topics should not be discussed. And anybody who loves Radharani will not discuss. Srila Bhakti Charu Maharaj never recited intimate verses. When Srila Bhakti Charu Maharaj came to our house to bless us, he sang Shri Radha Kripa Katakshaka Stavaraj, only first 5 verses. Only first 5 verses. Because then it gets very intimate. And how a Radha Palya Dasi will publicly discuss about Swamini like that? No, nobody will do that. Anybody who has love for Radharani will not do that. It is to be discussed very privately. Either alone in solitude, you relish and you cry for Radharani, or with 1 or 2 Sajatiya friends, where it is not recorded, where it is meant for personal bhajan. These things can be discussed, not publicly. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never indulged in hearing Rasa with ordinary men. When Mahaprabhu was in public, what he would do? Hari Bol, Hare Krishna Mahamantra Kirtan. But when he was with Sarup Damodar Goswami, Ramananda Rai, the 10th canto verses are being churned. You see? So, time, place, and circumstances. In the Srīmad Bhāgavatam, the science of God, the first 9 cantos prepare the ground for hearing the 10th canto. This will be further explained in the last chapter of this canto. In the 3rd canto, it will be more explicit. A pure devotee of Lord Krishna, therefore, must begin reading and hearing Srīmad Bhāgavatam from the very beginning. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadasya Tonaya Vitaradas. And not from the 10th canto. We have several times been, now listen, Prabhupada is saying, we have several times been requested by some so-called devotees to take up the 10th canto immediately. But we have refrained from such an action because we wish to present Srīmad Bhāgavatam as the science of Godhead and not as a sensuous understanding for the conditioned souls. It's not a sensuous, erotic scripture. It is science of bhakti, science of Godhead. How to become free from lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion. How to develop Krishna Prem. That is Srīmad Bhāgavatam. This is forbidden by such authorities as Sri Brahmaji. By reading and hearing Srīmad Bhāgavatam as a scientific presentation, the conditioned souls will gradually be promoted to the higher status of transcendental knowledge, after being freed from the illusory energy based on sense enjoyment. Illusory energy is based on sense enjoyment. We will be able to transcend it and enter into the spiritual realm. From Jiva Bhoot will become Brahma Bhoot, liberated platform. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the second canto, 7th chapter of the Srīmad Bhāgavatam, entitled Scheduled Incarnations with Specific Functions. So I will stop here. The essence is we should have respect for the entire Srīmad Bhāgavatam. We should understand that the entire Srīmad Bhāgavatam is meant for us. And we should study Srīmad Bhāgavatam from 1st canto to 12th canto systematically. We should chant our rounds attentively with absorption and devotion. Chanting Hare Krishna at least 16 rounds is most important. If we criticize devotees, we are simply creating many problems in our devotional progress. So we should not criticize devotees. We should serve devotees. And we should practice the limbs of bhakti nicely. Hearing about Krishna from Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Varga. Reading about Krishna and Radharani from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada's books. Thinking about these pastimes that we hear and read. Worshipping the deity with devotion. Chanting, participating Harinam Sankirtan. These activities will do Chetodarpana Marjanam. They will purify our heart. And under the guidance of our Diksha Guru, or if we don't have so much communication with our Diksha Guru, then under the guidance of a Shiksha Guru, with permission and blessings and empowerment, we should go deeper in our practice and understanding of bhakti. Ultimately, after reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we want to read Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj's books. We want to read the books of the Acharyas, like Shad Sandarbha, like Gopal Champu by Srila Jiva Goswami. We want to read Stava Mala and Stavavali of Srila Rupa Goswami and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. We want to read Ujjwal Nilamani. We want to read Govinda Lilamrit. We want to read Krishna Bhavanamrit. Yes, slowly. Systematically we have to read. But systematically. First we have to start with Bhagavad Gita, nectar of instruction, nectar of devotion, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. The books that Srila Prabhupada has given, first we have to read them, understand them. And it only takes few years. In 5 or 6 years, we can read and study all of Srila Prabhupada's books. At the same time, chanting, hearing, worshipping the deity, serving the Vaishnavas, not committing Vaishnava Aparadha. And then within 5 or 6 years, slowly, we will make advancement and we will be able to go deeper in our understanding of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. Then we will read books like Jaiva Dharma. Jaiva Dharma also, 40 chapters are there, 3 divisions are there. First division is very basic, Sambandha. Second is Abhideya. And third is Prayojan. So like that, we have to, there is so much nectar out there. And it's not that we should never go into Rasa Tattva. No. We have to go into Rasa Tattva, but systematically. We have to follow the 4 regulative principles. Chant nicely for some time. And then under the guidance of one's Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru, we should read and discuss these scriptures. But the esoteric topics should be relished alone. And if there is some bodily vikar, there are some bodily agitation when we read that, we should stop. And immediately we should take shelter of the other sections of Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so that is the process. So with this I will stop. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. Yes, Shama Keshwari Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandat Pranam. Thank you very much for the very nice class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, during Kartik, we do sing Gopi Geet. So is that okay? Sometimes at the temple also it's recited, and sometimes they recommend that you should do it during Kartik.
Yes, we should sing. And when I sing, my bhav is that I'm sitting at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and I am singing Gopi Geet for the pleasure of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who relishes the recitation of the Gopi Geet. Shunite Prabhu Santosha Apar, Bole Prabhu Bola Bar Bar. When Srila Maharaj Pratap Rudra was singing the Gopi Geet for the pleasure of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was very happy. He was very pleased. He embraced and said, keep chanting, keep chanting. So if that is the bhav, then definitely we should actually reciting Gopi Geet is one of the limbs of bhakti. It's very powerful. Reading any section of Srīmad Bhāgavatam is very powerful. So we must do it. We must do it. Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji, may I ask one more question?
Yes. Yes.
Prabhuji, I think last week you were telling the story of Babaji Maharaj who lives at Radhakund, and disease personified, a person came in front of him and he asked him, what do you want? And you said it's a long story, but maybe not today, but if you can complete that story sometime when you have time.
I will tell you. See, these are not stories from Shastra, but I have full faith in these stories. One may not have. Sometimes devotees, they complain to me that you talk without praman. So then I hold my tongue. But because you're asking, I'm telling. I have full faith in the sadhu I heard from, because it is Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, not just Shastra, Shastra, Shastra. Ultimately, Shastra is explained by sadhu and miracles are happening everywhere in Krishna's creation. Krishna is Leela Bihari. He enjoys pastimes with his devotees. And so many miracles we have experienced in our life. Who can deny that? We may not speak about it, but we know. So we have faith in miracles, and we have faith in Krishna, and we have faith in the words of Sadhu Vaishnava, from whom I heard. So in Radhakund, there was this Gaudiya Vaishnava chanting 3 lakh, doing Radhakund Parikrama every day, doing Radhakund Seva. He used to pick up the spit and the flowers that were offered and any litter that was there. Sometimes even pan, people spit, gutka, pan. He would clean. He would do Radhakund Seva by cleaning Radhakund, and he did it for decades. And he had disciples also. One day he was sitting and doing Nam Bhajan on the banks of Radhakund, and he saw a black person staring at him. So he asked, "Kaun ho aap? Kya chahiye aapko?" So he said, "I am your prarabdha." This Baba himself told the Vaishnava from whom I heard this story. He said, "I am your prarabdha and I am powerless in front of you. But because you looked at me and you are asking, I am able to speak. I am your prarabdha. Although you are a pure devotee, when you were born with some prarabdha, and you are supposed to get leprosy. And you are supposed to suffer from leprosy for 12 years. So can I come? Can I give you leprosy?" So he said, "I don't mind leprosy, but I cannot suffer for 12 years because I have got so much seva here in Radhakund. Who will chant 3 lakh? Who will do Radhakund Shamkund Parikrama? Who will do Radhakund Shamkund Seva? So I have a lot of duties and I don't have time to sit and suffer from leprosy." So he said, "Okay, no problem. I will just make the punishment double intense and finish it off in your prarabdha in 6 years. He said, "I don't have time for 6 years. He said, "Okay, I'll do it in 1 year. He said, "I don't have time away from my bhajan for 1 year. He said, "Okay, 6 months. He said, "I don't have time for 6 months also. How can I waste 6 months of life?" So he says, "Okay, I will give it to you in 1 day. But from your head to your toes, you will be covered with ulcers. And there will be pus, and there will be blood, and there will be intense burning pain. And you cannot take help from anybody." He said, "Okay, I agree. 1 day I can do. But I have to come back to my service of Radhakund next day." He said, "Yeah, next day you'll be fine." So he went to his kutir, closed the door, told all the disciples, "No matter how much I scream and call out for help, don't come inside until tomorrow." And he just went and laid down on the floor. And immediately his whole body was covered with ulcers. And there was pus and blood and intense, as if the whole body was on fire. He was Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. He was just calling out helplessly for 1 full day, 1 full night. And next day morning, everything was gone. He was fine. And he came out. His complexion had become even more effulgent. And he continued with the seva. And he lived for many years after that. So when Babaji asked him a question about prarabdha, so he narrated his own story like this. So like that. So these things are there now. sometimes, in a public class, one should not speak without praman. So therefore, I am trying to avoid speaking stories. But you tell somebody that there was one devotee called Sarang Thakur, and he touched a dead body and said, Hari Bol, chant Hare Krishna, and the dead body got up and became alive and became a disciple of Sarang Thakur. That sounds like a very incredible story, but it is a true story. Happened. And so things happen in this world. Miracles happen. There is no doubt about it. So like that. So this is the meaning of prarabdha. Prarabdha is there, but if one is completely surrendered to Krishna, even prarabdha, Krishna can even take away prarabdha. Unless the devotee accepts, then even prarabdha cannot touch a pure devotee who is completely surrendered. Like this. Is that okay, Mataji?
Thank you very much, Roshan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So very quickly, Amrit Gaurangi Mataji and then Nitya Lila Gaurangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare
Similar lines question, Prabhu. For Radha Kripa Kataksha Stavaraja, should we sing that or no, Prabhu?
Yeah, again, we can sing, and we can sing it for the pleasure of Krishna. We have Gopalji, we have Shaligram at home. So Krishna loves to hear Radha Kripa Kataksha Stava. Raj. So we should hear, we should recite it, think that, okay, Krishna is there and he's feeling separation from Radharani, and I will mitigate Krishna's feelings of separation. I will give joy to Krishna by singing Radha Kripa Kataksha. We should sing for the pleasure of Krishna. No problem. For the pleasure of our Guru Varga. How much happiness our Guru Varga will experience when they hear the recitation of Radha Kripa Kataksha Stavaraj. So we should sing. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada used to sing Radha Kripa Katakshak every day. Every day he used to sing. So we have parampara, and we can recite it for the pleasure of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. That should be the bhav. And the meaning, if one wants to hear, then one should follow the regulative principles for some time, chant sincerely, and then one can privately read the meaning also. Okay?
Sure, Prabhu. Thank
But
you.
not to be discussed publicly.
Sure.
Yes. Nityalila Gaurangi Mataji, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji. The professional reciter, Prabhupada quotes again and again, he says that, we should not hear from them. So I had this question that there are some people who might be so much into spirituality, and they don't want to do other professions, which is for them maybe waste of time. And they would rather do, they might be good kirtaniya, or they might be, good composer of bhajan. So they probably want to take that as a profession and, not waste time. Anyway, they have to earn money as a grihastha. So they don't want to waste time on other professions, but they want to do this and maybe earn some minimum amount. So I was thinking, isn't it good for them? Because we do see some people with certain talents, and they want to utilize in Krishna's service, at the same time earn. But then, Prabhupada also says that it is against. So how do we see? It's not personal application, but I generally have this query always that.
Hare Krishna. So one has to be very honest, and one has to be very careful. One should not speak Srīmad Bhāgavatam as a livelihood, or one should not do kirtan as a livelihood. Then it becomes a profession. Then we will get money, but we will not get Krishna. Because then we have considered an insignificant byproduct of the sadhana as the sadhya vastu. Sadhya vastu is Krishna, Krishna Prem. Sadhana is speaking Bhagavatam and doing kirtan. Insignificant byproduct is money. If we think that I will earn my money by doing kirtan and by speaking Srīmad Bhagavatam, that means our sadhya vastu has become the insignificant byproduct, which means we got deviated. We have taken an exit, and we have deviated from our path. So one has to be very careful There is the concept of dadati pratigranati also. Sometimes devotees give gifts and all. And priti lakshanam, out of loving friendship, one can give and take. But one should not give Bhagavad Katha and take monetary gift. Give Hari Kirtan and take monetary gift. That is not the right way. If someone is giving a dhoti kurta, then you also give a book. You also give some tilak or dhoti kurta or chadar in return. That is dadati pratigranati. Not that I will give Hari Katha and you give money. And we just go around collecting envelopes. That is where one has to be careful. And one devotee came to do Hari Katha and does not take any dakshina for the Hari Katha, just comes to speak pure Hari Katha. And he wanted to take some notes. So a pen was given in the car while going to the venue where the Hari Katha was, the home program where the Hari Katha was going to be spoken. A pen was given. So he wrote the notes and then gave the pen back. So the host said, no, you can keep the pen, Maharaj, keep the pen. It's nothing, you will need it. He says, no, I have come to speak Hari Katha as a service. I cannot take a pen as a as a gift, or no, this your pen, I borrowed it for some time. No, thank you, you can have it back. Did not even take a pen. So that is the standard. But if somebody is doing this, we should not judge, because they may have permission of their Guru Maharaj, or it may work out for them. But this may be an exception, but it cannot be a rule. Better we have some honest job, some Brahminical job as a teacher, or we teach something that is very Brahminical. Most Brahminical profession is that of a teacher. You teach and you earn your livelihood. So something can be taught and some money can be earned like that. But completely depending, then like Srila Raghunath Das Goswami says, then every time we give a Hari Katha, we may think, how much money I'm going to get now. So in this way, we have to be careful. There's so many things, experiences I have had in this regard. One devotee was offered some job, and he asked, how much salary will you give? It was a job in a devotee company. So he said, I can give you so much per month. He said, per month? He said, I do one Hari Katha and I get so much money. One Hari Katha in America. I get so much donation. What you're offering me in 1 month. Why should I come and work for you? He actually said that. So this is not what we want to do. We want to maintain the purity, and it's better to work outside honestly based on our educational qualifications and do some honest job. But we don't want to pollute the pure dhara of Bhagavad Katha or Hari Kirtan. You want to keep it pure, selfless. Prabhupada never took anything. Suta Goswami never charged anything, nor did Shukdev Goswami receive anything from Parikshit Maharaj. So that is the way, and that is how it should be. That is how it should be preserved. Okay?
So it is better to be a teacher of material things than to take money for Bhagavad Gita.
We should not depend on Srīmad Bhāgavatam, because see, if we are in the Grihastha ashram, it is our duty to work. And there is no shastric mention that somebody is maintaining livelihood by speaking Bhagavatam or doing Kirtan. Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj belonged to family of Kirtankars, but they had their farm. Gaur Govind Maharaj was a school teacher, teaching English, teaching history, geography in a government school and earning livelihood. And then in the free time, they would travel and do Kirtans. Srila Gaur Govind Maharaj. So in the Shastra, in our Parampara, there is no mention that somebody is maintaining livelihood just by speaking Hari Katha and doing Hari Kirtan. If one is in Grihastha ashram.
Okay.
If one is in Grihastha ashram, then it is one's duty to do some job and earn money. And that job should be ideally Brahminical. So that, but one should not depend on Hari Katha and Hari Kirtan for livelihood. That is maintaining material attachment in spite of hearing so many instructions on this subject matter. Because Raghunathas Goswami, why he stopped standing in front of the begging gate? Because he said that then I would look at people, oh, yesterday this person gave me some rice, today will he give me? So yesterday in Harikatha I got 500 rupees. Today how much will I get? Oh, these audience, I have actually heard one devotee say this, that city I will never go. People are so conjuice, they just don't open their pockets after Harikatha. I am giving such a nice Harikatha and they just don't open their pockets. Very miserly congregation. I have personally heard this with my own ears. So it's a controversial topic and I don't want to speak much, but I hope you got the idea.
Yes. Thank you so much, Rudy. I had long this curiosity, so you explained it very nicely. Thank you so much, Rudy.
Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we'll stop here and we will meet day after tomorrow. We'll start the new chapter, chapter 8. There are 10 chapters in this canto, second canto, and then we'll have the exam. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Jai Srila Prabhupada.